Welcome to another episode with DriversPay, and we're with Lee Kerr and Mike Tyers. Guys, welcome again.
Thank you,
Welcome, John.
Want to talk about the innovation that you've built up, what you've created today and why it's so disruptive, and how you're going to stay ahead. Tell us where you're at in terms of that development.
We can't tell you any trade secrets, John.
Where was the disruptive innovation to begin with? What did you lay out in the product that's here today that is still outstanding, that's giving your competitors a bit of a headache?
Well, obviously, we know the kiosk takes cash, obviously chip and pin. So there is kiosks on the market and various models of kiosks on the market which didn't take chip and pin. So we have built-in chip and pin inside our kiosks. But where the technologies went is our Fusion software. Fusion software is very powerful, extremely powerful. Other companies do not have that type of software. We're the only one on the market with Fusion software. It's our product, it's our design, and within that Fusion software is very powerful API integration with the dispatch companies. There is digital payments in, so we've designed through Fusion our own mobile app, which is obviously Android based and Apple based. And if an operator chooses not to take cash payments and chooses the road where I do not want my drivers in the office, they don't come anywhere near the office, they will use the app and they will log on to the app and they will get the remittance on the app and they'll pay by the app. So it's purely digital, which will save drivers time. Instead of driving 8 or 9 miles or 10 miles inside the city or outside the city, wherever their office is located, there's time to travel to the office, and then there's parking problems too as well. And if an operator has a specific day or time, you may end up with 500 drivers parked around the whole estate or in an inner city environment.
It's also traffic as well, isn't it?
Yeah, like we have one client actually down near Wembley. And on a Monday morning, he has about 200 drivers parked outside a small Wembley street. And if you went down, you'll see 200 drivers actually lining up to go into this small office to pay their settles. You're probably saying, why have they not adopted yet to DriversPay? They are adopting. Their problem is they were with one dispatch company, which we didn't adopt to at the moment, and they're moving to one of our partners quite soon. And once that happens, they're actually gonna come across to ourselves. Anything else you want to say?
Well, the innovation side of it all is like the portal. The portal is not just a payment portal. We've introduced a driver wallet in the portal, so not only do they see their balance or their documents, they can also upload their documents. So that's the things we're looking at. We're looking at ideas, reports and like graphs and stuff. We're looking at every aspect of that portal to make it the best portal for that company. So we listen to our customers. That's the biggest part. We actually listen to what they want and how they want it to work and why it's important to their business. Because all these taxi companies are pretty much the same. So if one is important to one company, it must be important to another company.
You're saying about innovating, John. We do have obviously a strategy to bring the current products on market, but we're not just sitting static. We're not a static company.
No.
We're an innovation company. We are a disruptive company. We like changing. We like to change how things are done. Especially with our commercial partners. At the moment, we're looking at other software technology within at the moment, DriversPay would be a B2B sort of offering, and we're going to be looking at B2C.
Yes.
Which is the driver to consumer end, which is a different type of payment completely. So we're looking at integrating our technology from the B2C, the driver to consumer, and that's very sophisticated technology, and also especially with the amount of fraud going on as well. If you look at the B2C within inside the vehicle, the motor vehicles, as an operator, you've got massive outlay for hardware, and that's chip and pin inside the physical vehicles. If you were a 1,000 car fleet and you have to go and buy chip and pins for that fleet, that's a substantial amount of hardware outlay. We're trying to do away with that hardware outlay. So our next products within our ecosystem will be an offering that if you're an operator, you do not need chip and pin inside the cars anymore. You'll be able to do it through our ecosystem, and the drivers will be able to take payment inside the vehicles within that ecosystem from the consumer payment. And yet again, that's all kept within the same environment of DriversPay, where the driver's paying the operator is going to be paying the driver, and that's another product which is going to be called reverse payments. And then you go from the driver to consumer, but that's the consumer payment to the business itself too as well. So
We're looking at all payments.
yeah, one big ecosystem that we're trying to keep. We're trying to keep it all streamlined in one ecosystem.
Okay. So what about merchants?
Well, you can have several merchants paying for different devices. You've probably got a merchant for your app. You've probably got a merchant for your PDQ machines. You've probably got another merchant for taking over the phone bookings. You can have several different devices taking, and all these merchants are taking commissions. Anything from, I don't know, 1% to 3 or 4%. We don't know what they're paying, and that environment is also things called clawbacks, and some of these operators are getting some big clawbacks back. We've got a solution. We have looked at drivers first because that was important to our customers, and then we basically also at the same time we were looking at another part of our business, which is obviously the other payments they take in the office. We're going to have one merchant doing all and getting the best rates. So we are going to disrupt this market.
So let's take a bigger view. What you're doing is disrupting and revolutionising the UK drivers pay market. What's the opportunity wider afield?
Oh, it's a massive opportunity at the moment. The logic with the company was, get us built within the UK and the Irish market.
Be number one.
Yeah, be number one. So we've set company goals, personal goals for us, which we're very happy to do. We want to become number one in the UK market, UK Irish market. I would say we'll probably get to that point with a bit of hard work, a bit of luck as well, a bit of help. We'll probably get there by about next July, and we'll be the number one kiosk on software portal service provider within the taxi market. Yeah, payment facilitator in the market. Going forward from that, we are putting the groundwork in for the American market and the Australian market. Obviously, we have operating partners here within taxi dispatch, operating software partners here, but
We are now talking to them operators over there.
yeah, we are talking to operators when the American and the Australian market, and likewise even the software providers here are now merging in those markets. So if they're moving there, we're moving there, and I would say within the next 12 months we'll get our first customers within the American or Australian market. So yet again, this company is just not a UK based company; it will be a US and Australian based company at the moment.
So you can scale the software very easily, but presumably with making hardware, you've got to have a factory, and you might be making a dozen, but your ambitions might be to make hundreds of these kiosks. How are you going to scale the manufacturing and production side of things?
Yeah, you're very right, John. Obviously, our fusion software is cloud based, like many SAP companies at the market is cloud based. IBM, Microsoft, even the taxi operating software, AutoCab, iCabby, InfoCabs. Our own software is cloud based, so if we did win a client just to come on for purely digital payments, yes, we can have them up and running within 24, 48 hours with our software. With onboarding with a commercial bank, it'll take another further 20 days. So from start to finish, if it's purely digital payments, we can have a client up and running within about 4 weeks. But you're very right about the actual hardware. We don't have offices in these other vertical markets, the America and Australia. So at the moment, we're putting the hard work in to get distributors there. Fundamentally, we are still manufacturing here in the UK. We will not move manufacturing to those countries. We will still manufacture here for QNS, quality of service, where we can control our product. Yet again, we don't want anybody trying to copy the product, so there's IPs in place. What we would like to do is manufacture the product here and obviously ship the products there to our distributors, and they'll hold stock within those sectors, and then obviously sell within those vertical markets. Where servicing is concerned, these partners are fundamentally extremely important to us because they'll be servicing our product there within those markets, and that's for engineering backup or any technical issues too as well. We still will run technical backup and support here within the UK, But if it's a hardware issue, we need engineers on the ground, and that's what we're doing now at the moment. We're talking to companies which will step in and service our clients within those markets.
So you could actually scale up very, very quickly.
Yeah, we've got the factory already in place, so we can actually just hit the number, how many we want made, and they'll be made. The thing is getting the orders in to facilitate the kiosks once we've made them. But the idea of the whole thing is self-fusion as well, so there is a lot of opportunities for one of our products to go out there. So it's not saying to you over and over again, and I keep saying it on these podcasts, it's not just a kiosk, it is a total payment solution.
So it's a very different type of business to the sort of telecoms products where you didn't own anything. You've now got a long-term future. This will grow and grow.
Absolutely. We've built something we should be proud of, really. From nothing, no background in kiosks or software, we've done really, really well. We're a little bit behind on what we planned, but we've done really well and we should be proud of ourselves. Even people who have built kiosks for years have looked at our kiosks and said, that's fabulous, well done.
I think that's been a really good view of why you're forging ahead, and it sounds like in a year's time you will be number one. Guys, thanks very much for another great podcast.
Thank you, John.